if you want to be rich and happy, don't go to school, because schools teach you things to be not successful.
Do you know who really the entrepreneurs are in the real world, statistically speaking? It's the C students. The A students are good at following rules and getting grades set by their teachers. But C students, they question the rules. They look at things differently. While A students were looking outside the window in school, worried about their next test, C students were looking outside that window and dreaming, picturing their own dreams, their goals, not the dreams of their teachers or society or the education system. It's been proven that majority of A students end up working for the C students who end up being their bosses. So next time, don't ever let a grade define you.
If you don't recognize this person, this is the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, and he was recently outed to be a fraud. So they're telling people to drop out of school and that C students end up becoming the boss, and they're showing people like Mark Zuckerberg as well. But what they don't realize is that Mark Zuckerberg actually dropped out of Harvard because Facebook was already working. He already got traction from Facebook and made like a few $1 million before he dropped out. And he didn't drop out of community college, he dropped out of Harvard. They say C students, but it's actually the students that are wicked smart and realize that spending more effort on getting a higher grade isn't really worth it. Not because they're not smart enough, but because they choose to. Also, it's not like A students don't end up becoming the boss either. Just take a look at the CEO of Alphabet, Microsoft, or Apple. I think it's more like the A students that are aiming for the more traditional career path, have a lower risk tolerance, and want a more guaranteed way to make money in life. Meanwhile, C students are kind of like shitheads and take on more risk.
School is a scam. You spend 15 years in a school to get a piece of paper that might get you a job.
Okay, fair enough, but I don't think the main value of school is the piece of paper, it's the education you get. Now sure, it might be outdated, but you still learn.
Meanwhile, the people hiring you dropped out and built businesses. The school system is training you to be a good employee in a job where you earn just enough to survive, but not enough to thrive.
What bro sends me when he fails all his tests.
Every 15-year-old kid should be doing this right now. If you're getting an allowance of $300 a month or whatever you're getting, take it, buy a piece of real estate that pays you $30 a month. Only use the 30, don't touch the 300.
Okay, first of all, what type of kid is getting $300 per month? Also, second, where the hell are you gonna buy property for $300 that pays you $30 per month? Out of touch, final boss. Yeah, people are really surprised that what kid is getting $300 per month in allowance.
Excuse me. Which would you prefer, this book or £1,000?
He's gonna choose the book, isn't he? Yep.
Good choice. That book contains all the knowledge I've used to build up a multi-million-pound property portfolio. And in there, if you read it, take that knowledge, come back to me, come to one of my live events. I'll even fund you your first rent-to-rent deal. How does that sound?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Enjoy the read.
Thank you.
This has to be one of the most staged things in the entire world. Also, books are usually around $15 to $20 max. He should have just taken the $1,000 and then bought the book.
I don't know why people don't buy more farmland. I ask people, are you smarter than Bill Gates at business? So Bill Gates has bought up 0.01% of America farmland. Bezos has bought 5x more. Once you're worth 10 mil, you should buy a farm. Julius Caesar bought a farm. This is a 2,000-year-old technique. When COVID came, I went to my farms. I had no mask. It was a good time. I was like, great. Go on my farm, don't have to meet anybody. I love it.
What are you gonna do on the farm? Also, he says he didn't wear a mask in COVID because he was at his farm, right? But nobody wore a mask at their home. You only wear a mask when you go outside. Also, what a scam that was. Nobody gives a shit about COVID now.
Rich people don't sleep 8 hours a day. That's a third of your life. It ain't but 24 hours in a day. You cannot be sleep 8 hours a day. You can't live in LA and wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. The stock market been open 2 hours. They already making decisions about your life and your ass was asleep.
What type of logic is that? That means people in Japan have been awake for like 5 hours before that. This guy hates time zones, huh? That's why I sleep 8 hours at night. Also, there's so much evidence that getting less than 8 hours of sleep damages your mental capacity so much.
Imagine being so clueless that someone's out there printing money while you're working the counter for it. Think about it. Governments can and are printing money out of thin air. Meanwhile, you're clocking in, trading 8 hours of your day for a paycheck only to get taxed on that money they created out of thin air. This is the life of the average person. So stop working for the money. Stop chasing the small paychecks. Start chasing freedom. Here's the best part. You don't even need to build a business. Let other business owners do the hard work. You just come in and close deals for them and get paid. That's the power of being a freedom closer. DM me freedom right now and I want to show you how good life can get when you learn the one skill that changes everything financially.
So he's telling you not to work because they're printing money. And then at the end of the video, he's like, hey, come work for me for that same money. Like, how does that make any sense? At least the comments are smart enough to pick up on this. You're right, I'll just print my own money. What bro sends me after failing foundation maths. And then if you go to his page, let's see what he has. Free training. So he's selling coaching for people to learn how to close high-ticket clients. I'm guessing that's how he makes money. But the shitty thing is his website doesn't even work. It's frozen.
I don't even care about money. I make a lot of money because I understand the system. I would never go to school, get a job, work hard, save money, get out of debt, buy a house, and invest in the stock market. I do everything exactly opposite.
What do you do?
Well, everything is the opposite of what they're teaching you in school. I wouldn't go to school.
And what would you do?
I would study money. I understand.
Yes, because they don't teach money in schools.
Correct. Understand that money is debt. And until you get out of debt, until you get out of money. In 1971, if you read my books, because I don't think you have. In 1971, the US dollar became debt. The US dollar is the reserve currency of the world. I don't know if you know what that means. What does it mean?
It's very dangerous for everyone.
No, it doesn't.
And it's not covered in anything. It's the only value it has is trust.
I don't really want to do this interview anymore. If you want to find out what I know or tell me what you know, then don't interview me.
He asked the question, then he's getting mad at him for answering the question.
Just you do your own stupid show. I'm trying to tell you something here, and you want to tell me how smart you are. That's very egotistical.
I'm here.
Yeah, he's the egotistical one, okay.
I think the stock market is for losers. Why would you put money in the stock market when it's manipulated? That's what I think about. So I'm always watching the manipulation going on behind the scenes.
Also, funnily enough, I saw a video the other day that exposes him, and he actually used insane tactics to get people to go into debt so they can buy his $100,000 courses and teaching programs. So apparently what he's talking about is that you borrow $10,000, then you buy an asset like a house for $10,000, and then you sell it for $20,000 and you make $10,000 in profit. And then you repeat the cycle, which seems like a decent idea until something like a 2008 mortgage crisis happens. Also, what if the price of the thing goes down?
$20,000 every single month selling my iPhone photos to stock websites. One thing I wish I could go back and tell myself before I started doing this over 2 years ago, it would simply be to start. I wish I could have told myself earlier that my iPhone's camera roll is a literal goldmine for businesses today. And they are willing to pay me just to upload the simple pictures that I have already sitting on my iPhone. And this is something that no one's talking about, but all of those random pictures sitting on your smartphone and taking up
No one's talking about it because this is bullshit. You know how many hundreds of thousands of photos and videos are on stock photography websites? And even people that upload thousands of pictures barely make any money at all. You make like 2-3 cents per photo. Even that I think is a bit higher. And she's apparently making $20,000 per month just by the photos on her iPhone. So if you go to her profile, unsurprisingly, she's actually making money by selling a course for $67 on how to make money by taking photos with your phone. Okay, let's watch this next TikTok which says my 5-year-old is making passive income.
This is probably going to piss some people off, so if you're easily not scrolling. I do not understand why people are complaining about being broke when it's 2025 and this side hustle exists. I found an opportunity that pays you weekly, it also pays you monthly, that's 5 times a week that you are getting paid. And it's honestly so beginner friendly that my 5-year-old is doing it. And my 3-year-old.
Okay. If your 5-year-old and 3-year-old is doing it, why are you telling the entire world? Why won't you just do that thing like a million times over and make like $1 billion? But let's see.
And no, it's not buying a course to sell a course, you are not writing envelopes, and you do not have to sell a single product. This is a simple concept that allows you to start earning immediately. Not only did I sign myself up for this opportunity, but I signed up my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old so that we can all start earning a passive income. Now, if you have a shit mindset and you think that everything is a scam or you just sit around being negative, then this is not for you.
It's funny how they always say stuff like, if you don't believe in this, you have a shit mindset.
But if you're still here and you want to know how you can make a passive income from home, you need to listen up. I'm going to tell you what you need to do.
Okay, I'm listening.
You need to follow along because you might not find me again and then you're going to miss out on this opportunity. And then you need to drop an emoji in the comments so I can send you the details to get started.
So she doesn't even say what she does and then gets people to comment so she can DM them and the conversation can be private so she doesn't get like doubters. Tell me more, interested, info please. And if I go on her profile, there's a link to a Facebook group called the Official Diamond Rush. 3.2k members. Okay, let's try and join. Okay, answer all these questions in full. Who invited you to this group? If you found us via TikTok, then put the name of the TikTok account that invited you. So then I would put the TikTok account name of this person and then I scroll down and it says, this group is free, but if you decide you want to get started after reading the info and watching videos in this group, it's $49.95 USD followed by $9.95 USD a month. Is this something you can do? And this is how they actually make money. I'm guessing that the people in this group all become affiliates for the group itself and they get a commission for each member they bring in. Also, what are these options? Yes, absolutely, that's the price of takeout. No, I'm broke AF and not worthy of spending $50 on myself. Like, fuck off.
Okay, I'm going to be real with you and I'm going to be quick. Do you have a spare $50? Because if you do, you need to join this business. That is paying me weekly and monthly for life. Yes, I've even set my children up so my children are now earning residual monthly income for life and we're not buying or selling a single thing. This business...
Okay, this is pretty much exactly like the previous video as well, huh? Let's see if this links to the Facebook group. Okay. This links to a different Facebook group. Let's try to join this one as well. Yeah, so for this one, you got to put the TikTok username of the person you found it from as well. And I'm assuming this one costs $50 as well.
Look at all these people stuck in traffic. They probably just finished their 9-to-5 job and they're not angry enough. That's why they're in this position. I was so angry at my position.
Hang on. They're in this position because they have to get somewhere.
When I was broke, I couldn't sleep.
You have a car as well. What are you talking about? Are you saying you don't drive the car when there's traffic?
Because I was so angry with who I was, with where I was in life. Now I'm pushing a McLaren 720S, suicide doors, and I worked so hard to get in this position. I knew I couldn't do what everybody else was doing. When everybody else was going out drinking, going to the club, I was sat there in my room being boring because I knew that was my only way of actually discovering how to make more money, learning valuable skills such as sales and marketing. That's the only way you're gonna make money. But if you do things the typical path, you're gonna get traditional, typical, boring results. Do things differently.
It's funny how he's shitting on people that are driving and are in traffic, but he buys a car himself. Like, if you were so different, why do you even have a car? Why don't you go like monk mode or something? Bro, the signal is red. Traffic will move. Doesn't matter how good your car is, you can still be in traffic, mate.
It took me 10 years to learn this, but I'll teach it to you in less than 1 minute. To become rich, you need multiple income streams.
Okay, generally people become rich by having one income stream that works really well, and then they diversify when they actually have some money.
They generate me over $100,000 per week. First is my retail store where I sell radar controlled cars, planes, helicopters and more.
And how did you get the money to actually buy your own store?
Second is my own brand and product range which I manufacture in China and distribute all over the world. Third,
cool, you could probably do that with around $5,000 max.
Is my eBay store online where I buy stock from failing businesses and sell it online.
Hang on, if the businesses are failing, that means the stock isn't selling. So how come you're buying it from them and able to sell it for higher?
Fourth is the stock market where I invest my grow over time.
Okay, stock market is good if you have enough money to actually grow. Putting $10 in stocks isn't going to do anything for you.
Fifth is my residential real estate which I rent out to family.
Cool.
Sixth is my commercial real estate, which I rent out to other businesses. Seventh is my personal brand, where I post videos online to help the next generation grow their wealth.
So what was the lesson here?
If I've got 50 grand and I want to buy 10 houses, because what most people do is most people save really hard, they'll make a load of money and then they'll dump it into a house. And then they'll save the money up again and they'll dump it into a house. That don't work anymore. So the strategy is, you've got 50 grand, buy the worst house in the best street. So instead of buying a house for 200 grand that's in perfect, pristine condition and renting it out, find a house in the same street that's really run down that needs 50 grand spending on it. It's got structural problems. It's a mess, but buy...
If it's really that run down and has structural issues as well, it's going to take more than $50,000 to fix it.
for 100 grand. Then spend 50 grand at doing it up. Doesn't have to be your money. You can get a bridging loan. I've got my own bridging company because a lot of people say, oh, how do you get bridging now? So I set my own company up. So now you bought a house for 100 grand, you spent 50 grand on it, but now it's worth 200 grand because you've added value. So now what you do is you now refinance it, get a 75% mortgage loan to value, and they'll give you 75% of the new value. So instead of getting a mortgage before you buy, get a mortgage after you buy, they'll give you 150 grand.
Hang on, so get a mortgage after you buy. So how do you get the 100,000 to pay for the property in the first place? And he was like, don't save up to buy property either. What is he talking about?
You get your 50 grand back, and you can pay the bridging company back, and then you go again.
How to become a millionaire by 22?
A millionaire by the age of 22. First, make sure you don't buy liabilities like these if your net worth is lower than 10 million. Because otherwise,
so
you'll spend money
never buy a car.
on things that don't generate money. You want to spend money on things that generate more money, like businesses, assets, real estate. This is the only way to buy a car like these in the future.
Yeah. What was the point? Okay, let me see you again. How to become a millionaire by 2022. And he says not to buy liabilities like a car. And that you should buy a business? Where are you going to get the money for the business?
Money on things that generate more estate.
Invest in business, assets, and real estate. With what money? Step 1, get $10 million.
Do you want to become a millionaire? Start a boring business. Don't try to be a Hollywood actor. Don't try to be a pop star. Don't try to be a cartoonist. Go for boring. Boring
I hate to say it, but I feel like he has crazy eyes.
pays. 3 boring businesses that will make millions. Number 1, vending machines.
Oh, come on. Nobody's making millions off vending machines. Also, you know how difficult it is to find a place to actually put them? Why wouldn't the person who owns the location actually buy their own vending machine? Why would they need to pay you?
Vending machines
Also, it's so saturated.
actually have a really low startup cost. Number 2, boring businesses that make millions, electrical systems repair. So you have to repair electrical systems. It only costs, on average, $27,500 to get started. And the payoff is huge.
Don't you need to spend like 4 years getting an electrical degree or something?
Number 3, of the most boring businesses out there, and maybe the most boring of all, but the most lucrative, owning a parking lot.
Okay, parking lots can definitely make a lot of money, I'm guessing. But who's selling a parking lot? And if you want to buy a parking lot, they're like millions of dollars.
Owning a parking lot. The startup costs are more for this. On average, $125,000 to get going.
It's going to be way more than that.
You need the land. You got to get the land somehow. Once you have the land and once you set it up, it's a cash cow. The money just starts rolling in.
What's the easiest way to make money?
The first million is the hardest to make.
Right. Yeah.
So start with the second million. Right. Hello. It was supposed to be funny, guys. Come on, wake up. I thought that we have a breakfast show here.
What a great joke by Arnold. When Arnold tells you to laugh, you laugh. They are so broke, they just wanted real advice.
I'm a teen in high school and I make around $1,000 every single day, so let me show you guys exactly how I do this as a teen. And before y'all say it's prop money, I'll just grab a random bill out the stack. Front, back. So pretty much all I do is something called one-to-one reselling, where I buy products off my trusted supplier for cheap and then I resell for higher. Now the first and the most important part of reselling is getting a high-quality trusted vendor to
Okay, but what the hell is he doing with the money?
get your products from. Now this is the most important part, because you could end up getting a bad vendor that's either going to scam you or send you a bad quality product, which results in you wasting your time and wasting your money. Now once you got your high quality product from the vendor, obviously now you need to sell it. And the best way to do that is downloading all of these free marketplace apps so you can make a listing for your product, and then taking high quality pictures of your product with good lighting, a clean background, and a nice title and description. This is just going to attract more customers and end up leading to more sales. Now after you have posted on all those different marketplace apps, just give it a little bit of time, and within the first day or two you should see your first sale.
Hang on, so he's saying you buy products from his supplier and then sell them on places like Facebook Marketplace? Why wouldn't people just buy the products on Amazon or something? Let me see his profile and what he's linking to. So he has a link to suppliers, and of course he's selling the suppliers' information for like $50, $40,
He's just 19 years young, but he's already flying to Dubai on a private jet to buy himself a $120,000 Rolex watch.
Okay, is it just me or does that look incredibly tacky?
Self a $120,000
It doesn't even look that good.
Rolex watch. And of course, he has a McLaren too. But no, in this case,
Is he talking about himself in third person? By using AI like voice?
it's not a typical rich kid story where his parents paid for everything. Because Samuel Snell from Australia has worked his way from his child's room to become a millionaire himself. And if I were you, I would check his profile out.
So is he just trying to get more followers?
This is how I went from a broke 21-year-old to a rich 23-year-old, all by teaching myself a high-income skill. I had absolutely no money in the bank. I was doing DoorDash. I was struggling. I was someone who quit things very easily back in the day. If something was slightly hard and I wasn't immediately very good at it, I would quit and never think about it again, and that would be that. I had no life goals, no life plan. All I knew is I was tired of being poor. So I went to Google and I typed in high-paying jobs that I can work remote. I wanted to work remotely simply because I wanted to be able to do this, travel, while I'm working and making money at the same time. Something that popped up that caught my eye was a career called cybersecurity. It's a massively growing field. They pay all kinds of money. They let you work remote. They have a great work-life balance, all that good stuff, right? So that's when I went on LinkedIn. I typed in cybersecurity in the search box and I added almost, every single person that it would let me add in the cybersecurity field. I started messaging them, hey, how can I get a career in cybersecurity as fast as humanly possible? And I asked quite a few people. And then that's when someone told me about this school called Western Governors University. It's an online, completely accredited, nonprofit college. You can
I'm guessing that he's an affiliate for that college and he makes like a few $1,000s for each student he brings in. I know this because I've done affiliate marketing for colleges here where you get international students and they pay like $30,000 to $40,000 per course and the person who refers them gets like 20 to 30% of the actual course fees. I stopped doing it because it was incredibly hard and we didn't get a single person in. I got my whole bachelor degree in 2 months and my first cybersecurity job in 4 weeks. Okay, what type of bachelor's degree gets done in 6 months? Actually 2 months.
get your bachelor's degree in under 6 months and it comes with 14 cybersecurity certificates.
To be honest, I think degrees themselves are too long in general, so you probably could learn those skills in 2 months if you go all in.
So yesterday I became a billionaire.
Wow.
Some of you guys are going to say I'm delusional, but yesterday my app that we've been working on for the past 6 months went live. And because the business model of this app is so
Hang on, his app went live yesterday and he's already a billionaire? What app is this?
insane, it's undoubtedly going to make me and my team very wealthy. But
Hang on, he said he was already a billionaire and now he's saying it's gonna make him very wealthy?
not only is it going to make me and my team wealthy, it's going to make the user, you, money as well.
Okay.
Yesterday, Goldie launched a $35,000 pay-per-view campaign, meaning you get paid per 1,000 views, as our first campaign on the app. After that went live, the amount of brands that started reaching out to me over Twitter and Instagram, insane. I can't even count all of them. So 2,000 downloads in the first day. May not seem like a lot. This is just a start. I think this app's going to be huge. I think it's going to make so
Hang on, you think it's gonna be huge, but you just said you're a billionaire.
The laziest way to make money online this year is not what most people think it is. Now, I'm not saying that those methods don't work, but after buying a Rolex at 14 years old, starting with $0, I found a faster and easier way to make money online. And this exact way pulls me in over $7,000 a month in passive income. And that lazy way is affiliate marketing.
Okay, I think affiliate marketing is actually a good way to make some money, and you can get some really high percentages of the sale if the product you choose is good, but the main thing is actually selling the products. You need to have demand. Let's see what his profile is. He's selling a course, is it, for $3? Interesting. I wonder if it's made by ChatGPT.
Look at money. Look at a bank. What is a bank? What is also a bank? A river bank. Right. And what does the river bank do? It controls the flow. The flow of what? The flow of the current. The currency, right? So if it's controlling the currency, it's also controlling the what? The flow. The flow of what? The cash flow. So what? Money moves like water. So if I understand where the water is going to go, I just have to position myself where the cash flow is going to be next, and I will get wet. Welcome to the big leagues, motherfuckers.
Sure, the basic concept is probably true. If you position yourself in the money flow, you'll get some money. But if you think about it, this advice pretty much tells you nothing. There's so many words said, they all make you feel like you're missing out on some secret thing that only they know, and that's the reason why you're not making any money. But he's not actually saying anything of value. I think advice like this is actually a huge reason why Alex Hormozi got so big. Because before him, there was people like Dan Lok or Grant Cardone, and they would all say stuff like this. But when Alex Hormozi started making videos, people finally realized what true quality actually looks like.
I made $300,000. I'm 23. I drive a Porsche. I go.
Okay, I'm 21 years old and I have this. I know you don't have that. She also has hair.
Ooh, even McDonald's commented, big flex to be honest. I'm 21 and I've had enough.